Did I forget today that the Phillies had an afternoon game? Indeed, I did. But that doesn't matter. Because what does matter is that the Phillies, I called it a disaster. They have tied the game, but things aren't exactly looking rosy in Phillies land. And after yesterday's game, there were more and more conversations about whether or not young Rob Thomson, a.k.a. Lyndon B. Johnson, seriously, look it up. They're the same person. Whether or not Rob Thomson was really on the hot seat or not. Now, obviously, there are some Philadelphia media personalities out there who were calling for Rob Thomson's job and have been for a little bit now. I don't know, due in part to the fact that it doesn't appear as though there are any adjustments being made within games. Like, who the hell knows, right? People get upset about everything. I will point out really quickly that if you're a Phillies fan, there has not been a lot to enjoy of late, most notably dropping the first 2 games in a Mets series that, listen, they're not critical games right now, right? Like, losing games in April kind of is what it is. But we talked about this on Monday. The games matter just as much now as they do in September. The only difference is the momentum factor. But you piss away the opportunity to compete in close games against division rivals that are probably going to be there battling with you at the end of the season. Losing those games now really does hurt you. It hurts you just as much as it does in the fall. And so I get it. I get why so many Phillies fans are worked up and are upset about the fact that the team has dropped 2 straight games to the godforsaken Mets after blowing a very winnable game in the series finale, in the series against the Marlins. That came after, Jordan, not Jay, not Ray Romano, Jordan Romano came in and gave up 6 runs last Saturday against the Marlins. Like, I get it. This team is not in the midst of a very good run at all. It is a time that you can be, and I would even argue probably should be frustrated with the Phillies. And yet, if you put out any kind of tweet that is remotely critical of this team, if you put out, I don't know, something on TikTok or over on Instagram Reels or Facebook Reels or YouTube Shorts, there are people that are still willing to make some excuses for this Phillies team. But the big thing is you get a lot of people who go out of their way and they say things to the effect of, oh, well, you have to wait. It's only April. They're not that far into the season. I don't know if you know this or not, but they're only 24 games into the season. Right now they're playing in their 25th game of the season. And, well, you just have to let everything play out. Just got to just figure it out, guys. You can't be critical of this team. At what point are we allowed to be critical? Like, at what point do you get smacked in the face with how bad this bullpen is? How many times do you need to get whacked upside the head before you say, you know what, now's a fair time? Like, do those people want us to wait until the trade deadline? Do they want us to wait until the All-Star game? Do we wait until mid-May? Do we wait till the end of May? Is the beginning of June acceptable? Like, at what point are you allowed to be critical? Because the bullpen sucks. And the bullpen got blown up again yesterday. It got blown up as bad as my diet did over Easter weekend. And there was a lot of kielbasa in this house. Hint, hint. Russ didn't eat particularly healthy this weekend. Okay? So, I'm sorry. I'm not going to, stand here and, go totally hyperbolic and tell you that the season's over for the Phillies and that them being 13-11 entering Wednesday afternoon's game is the end of days and they may as well fold the team. But, there are more than enough concerning trends here, especially with the bullpen. This doesn't even address the lineup, which we'll get to in a little bit. But, Chris, here's set the stage from Tuesday, right? Christopher Sanchez on the mound. A guy that, for about a year now, I've said, really like Christopher Sanchez. Really appreciate what Christopher Sanchez is. I do often go back to the thought that, they thought Christopher Sanchez was going to be a number 4 pitcher. Last year, he pitched a number 2, gets rewarded, does well, gets put in a really nice spot in this very strong rotation to start the season. But I kept saying, you got to be really careful because if anything goes sideways with any of these starters, you don't have the depth that you want to have. We never wanted to see Taijuan Walker in the rotation. He had a couple of strong starts. He started feeling a little bit better. You look at later in the season when Andrew Painter maybe gets the call up and you figure, all right, there's a potential path to having a nice strong rotation that even has your organization's best prospect in that rotation later in the season, cool. Jesus Luzardo, you hope is going to look like a legit number 2, maybe a number 3. He's looked very good. But I said they don't have the organizational depth right now to be able to withstand an injury or two to this rotation. Well, Ranger Suarez injured on his way back, but injured to start the year. Now Christopher Sanchez leaves the game Tuesday with forearm tightness, which is not a great sign. I'm not saying that means it's the end of days for him either, but sometimes a forearm tightness becomes a forearm strain. Forearm strain kind of portends the potential of there being a Tommy John issue. Not always, but sometimes. So you worry about that injury, and you worry about it because so much of this rotation was kind of predicated on Christopher Sanchez having another really strong year. And if he's out, let's just hypothesize for a second that Christopher Sanchez misses a few starts. God forbid, has to get Tommy John. Who's supposed to take the spot in this rotation? Because Ranger Suarez can't stay healthy. You don't want to hand the ball to Taijuan Walker. Aaron Nola's a fucking disaster this year. Legitimate disaster. Okay? Even the biggest Aaron Nola fanboys, and I know a few, even those people have to sit back and say, yeah, it's not been a great start to the year for Aaron Nola. I mean, you're that's 3 parts of your rotation that you were hoping to rely on. Suarez can't stay healthy. Sanchez is hurt, hopefully not severely. Nola's a disaster. Zach Wheeler is doing everything he can, but in fairness, he's only one guy, and he's going to have a bad start every now and then. He's going to make a mistake every once in a while. That kind of is what it is. Jesus Luzardo, is that supposed to be the guy that's going to hold the whole thing together? He's only one guy as well. So if all these things kind of play out the way that it appears they are, if Suarez is going to be in and out, if Sanchez is going to be out, if Nola is going to be a head case, then you have 2 starters in a 5-man rotation. That's not ideal. That's not good at all. And that doesn't even begin to touch on the absolute shit show that this bullpen continues to be. You go back to Tuesday. All right, Christopher Sanchez comes out. 2 innings pitched. You go, all right, this is bad. We know that in a game like that, no one is ready to go out and to step in that early in a game. Yes, you're getting paid money to go out and try to be maybe a long relief guy, maybe go out there in a situation that you don't expect to, but bullpen guys are supposed to be, somewhat mentally prepared. So you get Joe Ross goes out, has 3 strong-ish innings, nothing to really complain much about. No runs get scored. You're feeling okay. He was able to kind of stem the tide. You got through the first 5 innings. In fairness, these starters have been able to get through 5 innings with relative consistency, and then it gets you to the bullpen, and then you go, all right, what's going to happen next? So Jay Romano comes out. He does okay. Not perfect. He does okay. You say, all right, now we're through 6. There's only 3 innings left. Maybe we have a chance to get back into this game. Maybe we have a chance to level the series at a game apiece. Tanner Banks comes in. Gives up a run in 2/3 of an inning. Kirkering comes in. Gives up 2 more runs in 1/3 of an inning. And at that point, it's over. At that point, the Mets have gotten their 5 runs across, and you say, I think, sir and or madam, paying attention to the game, we are screwed. And the thing that made it even worse, right? The thing that makes it even more confounding, and the thing that makes it even more perplexing when you look at what this team is supposed to be built on, which is, in part, a strong heart of the order. Maybe not top to bottom, the best lineup in baseball, but one that's certainly supposed to be able to give you more than 1 run. The Phillies scored a run in the 2nd inning, and then the bats just went silent. You get nothing across. And then you fast forward to the game that's going on right now. Phillies failed to capitalize early in this one, and again, as of doing the show, for the people who are going to listen after the fact, you're going to watch after the fact on YouTube, they're right now in the middle of the 5th inning, right? The Mets are about to come up to bat. The Phillies plated 2 runs in the 4th inning. Hooray. They had bases loaded earlier in the game. Couldn't convert. Not good. Not ideal. And you're now in a situation where in this game, Zach Wheeler hasn't been exactly the guy that you're used to seeing. And he made a mistake, and it ends up getting deposited into the seats. Not ideal. Now, Do I think Zach Wheeler's like done for the day? No. Do I think Zach Wheeler could maybe get you another inning or two? Sure. But then you have to give the ball to this bullpen, and there's been nothing redeemable in this bullpen this season. There is not a single guy that you can give the ball to right now and feel with confidence is going to be able to get you through a full inning. Maybe Alvarado. Maybe. Is there anyone else? Are there any reinforcements coming? How many times are we going to go live on this show and have a conversation about the bullpen before Timu.com Mr. Rogers, a.k.a. Dave Dombrowski, says, oh yeah, I guess we might need a bullpen arm, huh? I guess we might have to address this thing that I didn't address in the offseason. Yeah. Okay, maybe. And I mean, listen, call it redundant. And to some extent, some of these points are going to become redundant because until they're fixed, it's not going to matter. Until they're fixed, it's going to continue to be a problem. The Phillies bats have this weird propensity for going cold all at the same time. You don't have guys on this team that just consistently get on base and consistently perform. It's like they ride this wave of momentum. They can put up a crooked number or two, and then the bats pretty much do nothing. They fall behind in a game. You get late into the game. You're seeing very few pitches in the 8th or 9th inning, and the game is effectively over. While on the other side, your bullpen is serving up batting practice to the opposition. It's a very frustrating time.